What makes an iPhone app great? Well, we already know what makes an iPhone great. In the classic movie Animal House, the John Belushi character yells, "Road trip!" and all his friends needed to do was grab the beer and go. But for most of us, preparation for a road trip would be a bit more complicated. We'd need to gather all the maps, the hotel or campground brochures, the flyers and postcards that describe the places we want to visit, the most recent weather report for the areas we are traveling through, and so on. Or just take an iPhone and some travel apps. By now, unless you've been living under a rock, you already know about the iPhone and the fact that it can run apps or applications. And you know that the iTunes App Store is loaded with travel apps, as well as hundreds of thousands of other kinds of apps. But the advantages you have with iPhone apps are more than just the difference between fumbling with papers and maps versus using an electronic device that stores everything. With an iPhone or iPod Touch, an app can present information that is relevant at that moment, relevant to where you are, what time it is, and what your next activity might be. For example, the Here Planet app can locate points of interest right near you. The Maps app that Apple supplies can find any point of interest on a map. Showtimes can tell you which movie is playing next at the closest theater. And Google Earth can show you any part of the planet, as well as where you are. You can even zoom in on the Great Pyramid in Egypt. The iOS platform, the operating system for the iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad, offers a strong foundation for these apps. That's why the app already knows your device's current location. Rather than pulling off the road and searching maps and brochures, you can know at a glance where you are, how to get to your destination, and what the weather's like so that you know what to wear. In the App Store, you can find over 400,000 apps that take you far beyond the ones that Apple provides. Popular social networks, such as Facebook and Twitter, offer apps to connect you with your friends on those services. Google offers an array of services through the Google mobile app, including the ability to edit documents and spreadsheets, or use the Gmail service. Newspapers, book readers, shopping helpers, streaming music players, fitness calculators. The list goes on and on. Many are apps that serve a need that a desktop or even a laptop can't handle very well, either because you don't want to have to carry the laptop around with you, or because even if you did, using it that way would be way too inconvenient. When Apple introduced the iPhone's Software Development Kit, also known as the SDK, in 2008, the iPhone and iPod Touch suddenly became the handheld computers they were meant to be. Interest in the SDK exceeded Apple's expectations. In fact, Apple's servers supplying the beta for the first SDK were overwhelmed. Since then, the App Store has grown to become the repository of over 400,000 applications, which collectively are driving innovation beyond the reach of other mobile devices. The success of the App Store and over 7 billion app downloads has turned iOS, the operating system for the iPhone, into the premier mobile platform for publishing software. All of the leading mobile applications typically appear on the iPhone or iPad first, and as a student of these lessons, you may be creating the next one. Most apps are designed to take advantage of the distinct features of the iPhone, the iPod Touch, and the iPad. For example, there are games that would never have been invented without a multi-touch display that recognizes touch gestures, such as Tap Tap Revenge, Osmos, and Spider, to name a few. Many games and other apps take advantage of the accelerometer, which detects acceleration, rotation, motion gestures, and tilt. The iPhone also offers a 3-axis gyro for detecting and measuring orientation. For example, with Labyrinth LE, one of my first favorites, you tilt your iPhone to roll a ball through a wooden maze to reach the goal without falling through the wrong holes. Another feature of the iPhone and iPad, location services, can be used in many different ways. Google Earth and Maps helps you find your location, and Find My iPhone lets you find a lost iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad. Showtimes uses your location to show the closest movie theaters. Eventful displays local events and venues. And Foursquare provides a social city guide of nearby places and offers rewards for checking into certain places regularly. The iPhone's built-in camera gives you opportunities to use images in your apps that people can take on the go. Not only can you capture still images and videos, but apps can also use the camera for other functions. Red Laser, for example, uses the camera to scan the barcodes on packaging, and the iPhone's FaceTime feature uses the camera to make video phone calls. The iPhone and iPod Touch can also do many things that a laptop can do, such as connect with social networks, grab email, browse the web, manage contacts and calendars, and so on. You might use these apps if you wanted to do the kinds of things you normally would do with your computer but didn't have it handy. In fact, there are applications that have been ported to or rewritten for the iPhone from laptop versions. For example, you can use Twitter, Facebook, and Pandora on your laptop or desktop, and it doesn't take any major imaginative leap to see how one can use these services on an iPhone. With all this in mind, you need to consider two basic design imperatives when it comes to creating a great iPhone app: exploiting the iPhone's features and creating a compelling user experience. Although the enormous capabilities of the iPhone make it possible to deliver a necessarily compelling user experience, you must take into account the limitations of the device as well. Keeping the two in balance is what I call device-guided design. Understanding the features and the limitations can also inspire you to create really innovative apps.